What is up? This is the Keyholing podcast with Lemon. This week we have the prolific 3D2A dev Chuckycheesetouchedme, the creator of the Papilia, which has done great in the 3D2A competitions recently, the Harlot Kitty, which we'll talk about later, the Lilium, a few other PCCs as well. Very PCC heavy. How are you doing today, Mr. Cheesy?
Good.
Awesome.
Prolific is a choice of words for me, man.
The Papilias.
I did not deserve that.
The Papilias looks great. It's one of the best performing in the Mac tournament. Seriously, a great platform. The Mac as a whole. I'm a Mac lover. Aves, friend of the channel. The best. I love his stuff. And so kind of introducing you to people, what's the first gun you shot? Like retail or gun from a store, I should say.
So the literal first gun I shot was my dad being a little bit of a jokester when I was, I want to say around 8. On New Year's, he gave me a 12 gauge and just told me, go ahead, shoot it up into the air. Just almost no instruction, just handed it to little old me. It knocked me on my ass.
Yeah, for the love of God, please do not do that to people. Anyone listening, it is not fun. And I don't want to say like particularly women because it can scare dudes too, but that is like a scary first. Legitimately,
yeah, the shit out of 8-year-old me.
Yeah, that can go sideways. I mean, I'm happy actually that it spurred an interest in guns for you. What's the first 3D printed gun you shot? So you've been making 3D printed guns for a few years now. What's the first one that you shot?
So the first one I shot was a Harlot. I went out and I saw the documentary with Jay Stark and the FGC9, and I was like, oh my god, 3D printing guns, that's cool. I was at least smart enough to realize, let's not go full, like, balls to the wall, let's print something small real quick. So I did the Harlot, got that to work, and the moment I got that to fire, I think I got it literally to fire once, and I was like, alright, that's cool. Off to an FGC9. And then I built that, and then it just kind of snowballed from there.
Absolutely, and the Harlot's still one of the most recovered guns, not only in the U.S., but national or internationally, I should say. And while it is like a good first build because it is small, it isn't easy. It isn't an easy build, I would say. Like, it is relatively like finicky and somewhat complicated to get to work. Did you experience any complications with that were discouraging?
Well, so it definitely taught me a lot about leveling my bed and making sure I keep my grubby fingerprints off the build plate so I didn't have corners lift up. That was my biggest hurdle, like my first, because I literally got a 3D printer for 2A. I didn't care about anything else. I went out and bought an Ender 3 solely to print guns on. So that was the first thing I started doing. And it was a nightmare. I don't think I even did a Benchy first. Like I just went and tried to print the side plates for the Harlot. And they just kept peeling off the bed for me. And then I think it was like the purple glue stick. Once I started reading up on that. And then I got it to work, and I was all excited, took it out, got it to shoot, and then instantly said, all right, fuck this. FPC9, let's go.
Yeah, it is a learning process. Not to go full boomer mode, but the kids today don't know how hard it was. We had to walk uphill both ways to get the Ender to function.
Oh my god, I can't tell you how many times. I can. Every single time I went to print, I had to level that bed. The bamboos, boomer moment. The kids nowadays, they don't understand.
They don't understand. They don't understand. The Chinese have made it so easy to 3D print guns, and it's the actions they're doing now. While dumb printers still have like their versatility, especially for people that are like totally offline, and like Vorons are an option as well. As far as accessibility goes, you can get an Ender 3 off marketplace. I understand everyone's like everyone's budget's tight except the United States when sending money overseas. Everyone's budget's tight, so you can get an Ender for $50 on marketplace and make it work.
Oh
There,
yeah.
like, will it be cost time and effort? Yes, but also you do learn a lot about the printer. I don't want to discourage people too much. I learned so much from the Ender that I wouldn't have learned with a Bamboo, Centauri Carbon, K1C, whatever it may be. As far as you mentioned, like the intricacies of like bed adhesion, understanding how the parts work. As an intro, it is such a great intro because it is low risk and potentially very high reward. Something else very painful other than bed leveling is some people may consider body body mod painful. So you got a bunch of tattoos here. I have a few. I don't want to like crazy dogs, but my thigh was really painful. My chest was not that painful. It bled a lot though.
Yeah.
What do you got going on here? What are you rocking? It looks like hooks in the back.
Yes. So like much like I did with guns, just going balls to the wall. I went I do very much this balls to the wall. It started when I was 13. I accidentally stretched my ears without even realizing it. I just noticed that it kind of hurt to put them in. Saw that the package had a 16G on it. Didn't know what that meant. Looked it up, and I saw that you can go even bigger. And I was like, "Oh my god!" Started looking into that. Found a documentary called Blood and Bone, and they discuss all forms of body modification, whether it be bodybuilding, transgender. That was actually how I saw my first transgender like surgery being performed. They showed in the documentary. That wasn't what I was expecting, but they have a segment in there that goes over the community that does like 3D body modifications, such as like subdermal implants, the suspension community, and I just kind of like got drawn into that. So it was weird. It was hard getting into that, being where I'm from. Anybody knows me knows that West Virginia, so pretty free state. But with that freedom, you have a bunch of good old boys, not really conducive environment for that kind of stuff to go on. So not a lot of shops around here. So I would have to do a lot of it myself. So most of the stuff you see is done by me, minus the black arm. That's about it, and the back of the head tattoo, and my stomach. Everything else is I sat there and did it myself, going from 13 up until 16, driving my parents crazy. I remember they found a tattoo machine in my bedroom. They took it away from me, and then 2 days later, they discovered that I had taken it back. I broke into their room and I found it and I stole it back. So they were kind of like, at that point, they were just like, all right, if he's not tattooing other kids in the neighborhood, that's fine, whatever. And they kind of just let me be. The suspension was something that I had to wait a long time for, because it's not like something you can do yourself. Now I do possess the materials where I could go and hook myself up to the tree outside and like hoist myself up. But the first time doing it, you don't know how you're going to react. So the gentleman you see in the video, his name is Rev Decay. He's a pretty prominent member of the body modification community. very, very professional. You wouldn't, you don't look at this, our type of people and assume professionality, but very professional. He will not even shake your hand or accept money. He's got a thing about touching things. He doesn't like touching anything. Like, he's very clean, very professional. Not something most people expect.
And I think that really I think that really parallels itself in the gun community in multiple ways. So you talk about the cultural taboo of, and I talked with Gutter Cheese about this, the cultural taboo of, we talked about skate culture with him, but tattoos 100% is, I live in a state and a county where for the longest time you could only get tattooed on certain days of the week. Like, there was no tattooing on, like, past certain times. Like, it was so, and growing up, like, in our quote-unquote generation, even alcohol was taboo to a point, particularly in these, like, conservative states. Even though people consumed it, it was this weird aspect of don't talk about it. And similar to, like, remember tattoos, like, my uncle had tattoos, and the sentiment from my grandma was like, oh, okay, like, I'm not happy with it, but we just don't talk about it. Like, we kind of pretend it doesn't exist almost in a way. And you mentioned the good old boy culture of, like, shaming things that are different or unique or new to them. And we see that from thuds regarding 3D printed guns, right? All the time. Oh, they're going to, oh, they're going to blow up. Oh, they're dangerous because they look like toys. Oh, they're whatever it may be.
I love seeing those on X. Just, oh, he said the thing.
Yeah, literally. Well, I mean, it's a meme at this point. And you mentioned another, like, you being determined as a kid to get the tattoo machine, and it's so similar with guns. So when we don't talk about these things, to me, that's when accidents happen, and that's why gun education is so important, because I would much rather a 16, 14, 12, however young it may be, kid that's interested in guns, understand how they work, understand the safety. You mentioned, like, in suspension art, like, being a first-timer, kind of getting your feet wet, getting help from others, being safe with this type of thing, because people assume you're just, like, YOLOing, and while you YOLO'd your way into it, it's not, like, it's very controlled environments. It's very much like a printer, right? Like, you have to have these different ingredients come together in a very controlled environment. So you control the temperature, you control the tension, all these sorts of things. And so looking at that from, like, zooming out and looking at that in total, do you see culture changing more so, general culture, right, to being more accepting of 3D printed guns? On a larger level, we've seen tattoos, but body modification as a whole, and suspension art obviously, is, I would still consider, very taboo to quote-unquote normies. Do you see it changing for either that or 3D printed guns?
So I do. So when I show people videos of the of me, like, shooting the Papilla or the Mark 69 that's, like, over there in the left, yeah, that one down there, but or versus this, yeah, that's another project in the works we can talk about later if you want. But whenever I bring up the 3D printed guns, it is a much warmer reaction, much more accepted reaction. Now, you do occasionally have the people who assume you're breaking the law, assume you're doing something illegal. But the moment, like, at least in my case, the moment I've explained to them, as I'm following my state's laws, there's no federal laws against this. I don't print switches or Yankee Boogles or none of that. None of that. I don't. I love my dogs, and I have a wife who's about to have a baby, and I want to not be in federal prison for when that baby's born.
No.
So I don't do illegal stuff.
There's people in the community.
They ask how to do it.
Yeah, there's people in the community who are missing kids' birthdays right now. Like, it is what it is. And it's awful and it's horrible. And when you explain, oh, it's just of making metal. And even to people that don't understand guns, if you just kind of briefly explain some of the intricacies of how stupid and arbitrary gun laws are, explaining SBRs to people, oh, if it's below this certain length, they'll lock you in a cage if you don't have a permission slip. And, like, now, everyone generally understands, like, machine guns, things of that nature, but another thing is silencers, right? Like, what would be considered safety equipment? Oh, you have to, for the longest time, you had to pay for that, and you still have to ask permission. And so I think those things will change for sure. Partially because I think of where we live, like, not only free states, but America as a whole, I think has more gun exposure than to, like, somewhere like maybe Australia, right? Who has complete, like, it's gun hell. So I think because the media has made it taboo, right? Much like they did with these other things, the demonization of people that do body modification, the demonization of tattoos, the demonization of quote unquote people that even look slightly different, right? Look outside of your expectations. Shoot, guys with earrings, right? Like, legitimately, it sounds crazy, but that was it's not near as much anymore, but it was such a social stigma.
I mean, I remember my dad when I was able to get a McDonald's straw through my ear. He sat me down. Like, I remember this. He brought me down to the basement in his man cave. He sat me down. He had this big old, like, we were having this conversation, this big man talk. It's like, now, son, you're gonna be doing this. You gotta accept that you're gonna be, you're gonna be living on the bottom of the totem pole. You're gonna be,
you're not gonna get a job. You're not gonna be able to find a partner.
I work for a union now. I mean, I make similar to what he makes.
Yeah, and
at half his age at the time.
A lot of union and worker. Sorry for interrupting, man. A lot of union and worker guys look like you, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they are like, they may even wear long sleeves on a job, but I know so many union guys that are like, they'll even a short sleeve shirt, take it off, and their full chest and back are done. They wear pants, but their legs are done. And there was this idea, and I understand part of it was from fear, you won't get a job, but it was telling people you won't be able to do these things. Exactly like they're doing with 3D printed guns now. I mean, even to a much more extent as far as arresting people, saying you aren't going to be able to have a job. We're going to put you in prison for this.
And I think part of the... Sorry, but didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think part of a solution that I don't see many people doing this. I think we, like, the 3D print gun nerds, we need to go out to our public ranges. That'll allow us. We gotta, where a lot of us are, and even myself is guilty of this, a lot of us, we like to stay on the internet. We like our little home on the internet. Don't talk to people. We're gonna stay in our house, build our guns. We gotta get out there. We have to go out to these public ranges, talk to people. I've even considered going up to one of my local ranges with a sign saying, like, do you want to shoot a 3D printed gun? Come shoot a 3D printed gun. It's a lot of fun. It's not scary. It's no more dangerous than a regular gun in many aspects. As long as you're careful and you're not an idiot, you can do this.
No, 100%. And it's as simple as talking to local groups. I'm in a couple local gun group chats, and I've been able to explain to people. People come and say, hey, can you explain this? Or even just reassure them that there's not going to be catastrophic failures. One of my, and I've told this story so many times on here, but one of my most fulfilling experiences is a kid he was out with a hunting rifle with his dad at the BLM range, and he was really interested in shooting, and I was like, "You can go ahead and shoot." And his dad's like, "Are you sure?" And the smile on his face, like I'm getting chills thinking about it now. That completely changed his perception of 3D printed guns or rifles, like actual like an AR-15, like he shot a Hoffman, and so being that change is so important, and I think this is important with education too, because if we're not the ones helping with education, it's going to be cops. If and that their education is don't touch this, don't do it, you're illegal. They work with gun control orgs. I could have an episode every day for years about the issues with cops and gun control, but that never works, right? Just like don't get tattoos, don't drink alcohol, don't do drugs.
Another similarity to that is like, you know, with the wrong people giving out information if the right people aren't speaking up. So if you go, say you get a piercing and you have it looks infected, you go to the hospital, they're going to tell you to take that piercing out and go on antibiotics. Regardless of what the situation is, they're just immediately going to tell you to do that. All right, cool. If you go to your piercer, they will look at it and they will give you a plan to clean and keep it clean, because it's your fault. If you ever had an earring that got infected, it's your fault. Whatever, deal with it. But they will show you how to be able to keep the piercing and eliminate the infection or possible infection, because most of the time it's not even infected yet. Like, it's just mad. But, you know, you go to the wrong person, they don't know anything about piercings. They know about, like, surgical, this is how the human body is supposed to be. They don't know about adding accoutrements in there. They don't know anything about it. They don't do it.
Yeah, no, and
so you gotta go to the right person.
Similar to people in the gun community, right? We've got to be louder than the idiots. So there's so many variants of this, but I'll use an example. Some tattoo artists tell you it's okay to swim after getting a tattoo, or you can. There's little or no aftercare instructions, and similar with like your father giving you the 12 gauge. There wasn't any instruction, right? There wasn't any.
Just told me don't point it at your mother.
Yeah, literally. And so there's so many ways we can improve, and I think it's so important for these discussions to be had, because without this, we end up in the culture of don't talk about it, don't look at it, and none of that works. That never works. Telling a kid not to do stuff just does not work. It has never worked in the history of ever. Yeah, exactly.
I'm a prime example of it. You think my parents wanted this?
Exactly. Transitioning a little bit into one of our favorite.
I still did it.
Exactly. Transitioning a little bit into one of our favorite platforms, both of us, the Mac platform. You've worked on the Papilia, you've worked on the Lilium. What went into your interest in the Mac platform? Why do you find so much in the platform itself?
So I've always been a fan of less is more. So, like, if you look at the guitar playing of Angus Young from AC/DC, it sounds like he's doing a lot. If you watch his hands, he's not. But it's just there's just something beautiful about the simplicity of the Mac platform that can be turned into so many different things. I mean, you have the Lilium there, which is pretty much just a take on the DB alloy. You can have a pistol variation of that, or you throw a 16-inch barrel on it and a stock. You got a hold rifle. Throw a short stroke buffer in it. It's just I got one here that I've gotten to work with M&P mags. I got one that I've gotten to work with Glock mags. You got Sten mags. You can make it work with a whole bunch of things.
No, 100%. And you talk about versatility. You can make it work with what you have or what someone has. And it's one of the builds I often recommend because it's so easy. It is easier, way easier even than a Glock to me. You literally put the what's the hardest part sometimes, like screwing the screws in or the Senka send plates. It's not rocket science. Like it is. It's small. People, I think the name recognition is great. People know Mac 11 and they're like, ooh, the Mac. It's referenced in media, in movies, rappers. It catches the ear and eye of people. And also the affordability wise, like we're talking with mags and stuff, you can get in if you find a sale for like under 300 or under 400 for sure. And that is so reasonable for a gun that many considered they would never be able to purchase.
I mean, hell, if you have an $80 welder from Amazon and the cutouts for most of it and a Dremel, you can make it yourself. You can, like it is that simple. Except for the bolt. You can't really do that with the Dremel.
You know,
that was a good myself. But I mean, hell, I've even looked at and I need to revisit this. I've looked at similar to the P90, the printable P90, where they have the printable shell for the bolt, and then you fill it with the Cerasafe. I've experimented doing that with Mac bolts, but I seem to get fucking shit in the firing pin channel every time. I think that's more on me than anything. So I just haven't been able to get a proof of concept, to work. But I don't think there's really any limitation to what we can do with it.
No, absolutely. And there are a lot of duplicates, a lot of variants that are very similar. Like even the Lilium, you mentioned it being similar to the DB alloy, but that's what all this is about, right? Is building on things that are already great. The DB alloy, people have ran it in competitions. People have there's maybe hundreds of thousands of rounds into it. The platform as a whole right now, and it is so popular. It looks sleek. It has a cyberpunk look. You've got the full pick rail here, and like you mentioned, there's no boundary. Kind of like similar to the body mod stuff. There really is. It's whatever direction you want to take it. Customize it for you. You can learn CAD and add things to an existing platform or an existing frame. And kind of transitioning that, you really like PCCs as a whole. Is there something that draws you to them? Do they just look? I mean, they look cool, but is there something more than that draws you to them?
They're just fun. They're just there's just something about it. They're fun. I can only show my wife so many Glocks. Like at least like with the PCC stuff, she's like, ooh. she at least she doesn't immediately recognize it.
No, definitely.
That's kind of my gauge.
It's unique, and also they look like 3D printed guns, right? Oftentimes, even with a Glock, if your settings are dialed in, if it's a good frame, someone who doesn't understand 3D printed guns is not gonna know it's 3D printed, right? And I think there is utility in people seeing it at a range or people seeing it somewhere and saying, "Oh, that's a 3D printed gun. I'm interested in it. I want to learn about it." While it is cool for people, particularly in bad places, to be able to say quickly, like, oh, this is just a normal Glock, to avoid whatever repercussions may come from a 3D printed gun. But I think the utility of people being able to immediately recognize an alloy or a Recession Ruger or the MK69 here, whatever it may be, is so valuable in spreading the signal. Um, Before we move on from the Mac, we've got to look at help from the Papilia here. Pumpkin,
Yeah.
it looks like you made Pumpkin do all the work, actually. Here she is.
There was a take where she got frustrated because the front trunnion pin was not lining up, and she threw the hammer. So we had to do away with that take.
Okay, yeah.
She does have a bit of a temper. No.
I mean, understandably.
No, that's my that's Pumpkin. She's just good orange cat, man. Does whatever.
Also,
You do keep her in the background of that video the entire fucking time though.
which is awesome. Which is awesome. Meows help you focus. Also, based wife letting you do this on the bed. That's fucking insane. Mega based
I can't
wife.
tell you like the amount of shit this poor woman puts up with. Like I just we gotta give it up for the 3D2A wives out there.
Oh, 100%. This isn't mentioned enough.
I know they all struggle the same. I know they do. I think I've joked about it with All Things Firearms before about getting like everyone needs to we need to like have like a wife 3D2A wife podcast or something.
Yeah, no, shout out the wives, because I remember I had, when I first got the Ender 3, I'm modding it out. It was so popular at the time, and it still is now, but like to get it as fast as possible, right? So I had it in the room right above our bedroom, and at night, it literally would be, you could hear it. And so, even over the fan, and they've dealt with so many people taking cat hours, spending a fuck ton of money, projects taking money, pieces everywhere, all sorts of shit. So shout out the wives for sure. I also want to shout out this is coming out on Friday 6/5, so the 5th, which is Wear Orange Day or whatever the fuck for anti-gun shit. Fuck all that. Wear an orange shirt with a gun on it today, maybe. But cheesyparts.com. So you're going to have some Mac offerings, correct?
Yes. So I know I've said it in the past that I don't really enjoy selling 3D printed related items, like parts kits for the Papilia or for any of my designs. Those will never, I'll never sell. Like Pemby has parts kits for the Papilia, but that's like all I did was make the parts kits and I just sent it to him because I love him. And speaking of which, if you haven't already, go support Pemby right now. Go support Pemby.
Yeah, the Rare Greed, Lawrence DeMonico, and while I love a lot of the people at Nagger, the Nagger Rare Breed ATF settlement was fucking stupid. This was always going to be the result.
But lost track. Got focused on my love for Pemby. But so I don't. The items that are for sale, the files for them will still be available for free. So there is nothing stopping anyone from going out and making it themselves. I simply have taken on the task of buying certain materials in bulk, like the resin for casting polyurethane short stroke buffers. So if you're just going to be making one of them, may not be very cost effective. So I've gone and that's the basic business model.
Well, also, people may not have time to do it themselves, or people may...
Or they may not have the polishing equipment. I do understand, because so when I like the CCTM flat face Mac triggers that I've been giving away pretty frequently for 3D2A.tv, they get quite a bit of polishing when I receive them. So they're polished. They go through a whole polishing process, oil bath, a whole separate set. If you don't want to do all that stuff, then yes. And another thing, I know I've told my beta testers to keep it hush hush, and this is going to be a little bit of a surprise for them hearing it announced. But I do have a select few who, by the time this is airing, they will have received their beta copies for the Fromage deux. So the Fromage deux is a replacement hammer for the VMAC. It'll work in printed builds, work in the regular VMAC build, that allows binary fire. Pretty fun. I like binaries. I fell in love with binaries from Pemby's Sloppy Seconds, and then ever since then, I've wanted a binary Mac. I like my Lilium up there as binary. I love binary Mac. I don't know why. So I needed to make the standard Mac platform binary as well. It's something that's kind of been done in the community in the past, in sort of like in a janky, you could fuck up your hammer type way, like buy an extra hammer if you're going to do this, just in case. So I just went ahead and I CAD'd up the proper geometry for it to allow it to. So you'll. I don't know if I want to give this away. No,
you don't have to. You don't have to.
I'm kidding. It's stupid simple. Anyone who. I'm not filing patents on this shit. Steal it if you want. I don't care. Just know I thought of it first. But so obviously the little nubbin up top here that helps with the reset, that's eliminated to allow this to go down a little farther, and these are kept on the same plane. Versus, you'll notice this has a slight drop off here, and this is more straight. They're kept more linear, and that keeps you from being able to miss any of the sears. So that way, there's no risk of hammer follow, and that's one of the problems that can occur with the janky DIY method.
Well, also, we talk about time and tools. A lot of people getting into these are maybe new to guns as a whole. They don't even understand the processes or anything like that. That's why I view vendors as so important. And I know a lot of times people think it's redundant. Oh, so-and-so selling a parts kit. I don't really care where people get it from. I
do want to throw this out there. So when this does go up on the site, and because the files for it and information on how to make it will be available, you'll be able to make it yourself. If you have any questions, you can ask me. I'm not going to get butthurt that you're not buying from me. You can just ask. It's okay. Well, I don't care.
No, and I tell people this all the time. If you print someone's gun or make someone's stuff, show them. Send it to them.
I love that all day.
There's not, I understand, even Pimby with, triggers and stuff he's made, he's always encouraged people to try and make it yourself. Do it. Maybe don't sell it, as he intends to, but making it yourself has always been encouraged by everyone, and that's so awesome. And I kind of want to transition here to something else you have in your X bio, which says free 3D2A newbie guidance available on request. Why do you think, we've talked about new people, why do you think it is so important to give them access to good resources, to be welcoming, to spread the signal in a positive way?
So when I first got into 3D printing, it was kind of it felt like there was a barrier, a bit of a barrier, like these developers were kind of held up so high, and I can't tell you, I would never name names, but I had shot out many a DM, asking, begging for can you help me? I promise I'm not a Fed. Like, I'm not even asking about illegal shit, and I would just get crickets. And like, obviously some of them, they would just get flooded with DMs all the time, and it was just crazy, and that's understandable. Especially when at the time there were so few people doing it. It kind of does make sense that there was sort of they would put a wall, because otherwise your DMs would never stop going off. But now I feel like there's enough people out here doing it. We have enough people with enough experience. We should have more people with that in their bio. Like, just letting people know, like, you can ask me. I will answer you.
No, most
I don't like, and it's just like my some of my union brothers, when they find out that I do the 3D printing, their eyes look like silver dollars, and they have every question under the sun. They're asking everything from, is it legal, to how do I do illegal stuff? Obviously, I advise those guys not to do the illegal stuff. But like, the moment somebody finds out something about 3D printing, at least in my experience, they kind of want to know.
Most
and
definitely.
I feel like through the internet, they're a little afraid to ask. So that's why I put that up there. Just like, if one person sees it and they're like, oh, okay, this guy won't ignore me. If I can answer their question, it makes me happy.
No, 100%, and that's really what I have taken as my role, as far as I don't really do, like, I participate in some betas, obviously, I make promo stuff, but information I feel like is so important nowadays. I want to be available to help people build bait. I'll even build bait with you. If you're like, hey, what stock do you think would look good with this? Or what brace would look good with this? Build baiting's always fun, and sometimes people just need to bounce. Like, they don't even need a answer they just need to say, like, hey, do you think this would look good? Or, hey, I don't want to ask this. And also, there's no dumb questions, but read the readmes, right?
And I'll never respond with read the readme. I used to hate that. Like, I get it. Like, yeah, read the readme, first of all. Especially mine. I put some pretty funny stuff in there. But, like, just saying read the readme, I had permanently, like, decided, okay, I'm never going to build one of their designs.
Yeah. No.
Because I saw them do that, and I was like, okay, they don't answer questions. So I just ignore them entirely as a developer.
Yeah, I think if it's a, hey, here's the answer, it's also in the README, go read it. Like, if you have other questions. I think that's the best approach, because it may legitimately be...
Or even screenshot the README, the section of it.
Yeah.
That says it.
Exactly. And so it may be a thing where they're just overlooking it, whatever it may be, but saying, hey, you might want to go take a look, this is the answer, you might want to go back and take a look at it, is so much more welcoming in good faith than, oh, you're a fucking idiot, are you fucking retarded?
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is still room to mock and poke fun at people, and everyone that's posted a shitty build on our FOSCAT, our 3D2A, the GunCat Index forum, the GunCat forum, I want them to be able to print better guns. That's why I think good-natured ribbing is funny and important. There's so many funny guns that you're like, what were you thinking printing that? What in your mind thinks that's a functioning build? And I think that's how some people learn, right? And
yeah, definitely.
So I think that is getting new people onboarded in the least abrasive way possible leads to further growth. The more people are 3D printing guns, the more the signal can't be stopped. Talking about stopping the signal, one of my favorite projects from you, and if people are watching, this is going to be the deep fried cover and thumbnail for the episode. The Harlot Kitty. Such a funny concept. and it's hilarious. It's one of my favorite trolls.
Yeah, I don't think I got that out an hour. What was it, like an hour after they had posted or something? I was watching it live with some of the fellas. I started doing it.
Very fast, and so funny at the time. For those of you that don't know, I won't pull it up. You can go find it. LNC Security, former NYPD folks, run a 3D2A workshops where they basically go sell workshops or whatever it may be to conferences, to departments, and quote unquote train them on 3D printed guns. They do fear mongering for news stations, which is what it was in this case. There was a Labubu with a crudely harlot-shaped hole in it. This immediately inspired. It was that set. Literally within a few hours, we had the harlot kitty with a hole in it. And this was actually used at later dates by grabbers to say that they're targeting kids, blah, blah, blah.
Wait, what? Was it? I didn't see anything about it getting mentioned.
Oh, not in any, but with them on, like, responding on Twitter. Like, saying, like, I can't believe you made that. I also post these type of things on Blue Sky. So, a lot of people think it is just, like, targeting kids or anything like that. It's all trolling. This
targeting
is,
my wife.
Yeah, it's absurdly large. I don't think people realize how large it is.
No, it takes over 2 days to print at like 20% infill. It's ridiculous. Don't fucking print it.
Yeah, no, it is a meme, and it is so funny though because of.
I had the halves of it around here somewhere. I think I threw it away after I finished it and took a picture or something to send to my brother. But
well, and it's such a funny meme to poke fun at the grabbers. Why do you think trolling and poking fun at them is so important? It's something I do frequently on the daily. Why do you think rejecting and making them look silly is so important for the 3D printed gun movement?
So their audience is not the 3D printed gun community. Their audience is the 3D printed gun community's mom and aunt and grandma and uncle and granddad and people who have no idea what is actually going on. But when a bunch of dudes just start piling on, eventually they gotta do math and see that, like, they're outnumbered. Like, obviously, if they got a dude in a pineapple mask dumping a magazine into the dirt under a video that says it's going to blow up, or that these are dangerous to the community, or whatever, they're going to have to eventually make their own decision on that. They're not just going to be able to listen to Ann Schechter.
No, 100%. Providing other resources, and just like we talked about with education and getting people on board, it's providing more resources to people, giving them more information that says this just isn't true. Like, people aren't leaving harlot labubus on the street for kids to pick up. Like, and also no kid would think that was a labubu, by the way. It's not this fucking razor blades and candy bullshit that they're trying to make it out to be. And I think making a mockery of that is so important, because parody and jokes are one of the quickest, easiest ways to get people's attention, explain things to people. Like, they giggle a little bit and they're like, oh, okay, like that is silly. And just giving them something else that's not scary, you're going to die, it's going to blow up, scary, don't touch the gun, it's going to blow up, you're going to die. It's so important, because that's what they hear from Facebook, from mainstream media, from every local mainstream media has, particularly in places that have had legal restrictions, laws go in place that restrict 3D printed guns, run the 3D printed hit piece. There's local devs contacted frequently. Which
I'm waiting for one of them to contact me. I'm waiting for it. And I'm wearing the Princess Leia outfit the whole time. They're not, I regret that so much already. I regret that shit.
But yeah, it's making a mockery, having fun, and that's what something your build stress. People I have on stress, I stress. Important people are stressing is have fun with it, right? Like, it is 3D printing guns. It is serious. It's very important to arm people, but
Once you get the safety done, once you know you're safe, you're allowed to have all the fun you want.
no, exactly.
Just get the safety down. If you're safe, you can proceed to have all the fun you want. It's when you start having fun without worrying about the safety first, then you mess up.
No, absolutely, and getting people on board with printing things right, answering questions, all these things are so important. And I think so often people have this idea, and I do this myself. I think it's just human nature to say, "Oh, one thing will be the answer." Right? There's one answer to spreading the signal more, and it's not. It's a bunch of these things. It's cool devs. It's the fantastic Ruby meme of every dev has 10 supports. It's creators, testers. Testers are so important, and people.
Oh my god, yeah. Like I couldn't get the fromage do out without the testers. I have like it's a limited number of testers, but if you compound the rounds that they're putting through and I'm putting through, like I'm about to have a baby. I couldn't afford to do that.
No, 100%. And
First of all, and the time it would take. Like the beta testers, like I don't think they get shouted out enough. They are hugely important to this community.
So important. And if you're listening to this and think, I can take the next step, I can contribute, it really isn't like you're not filling out spreadsheets or anything crazy. You can literally say, I shot this many rounds, and this is the measurements that came off the printer. This is what my caliper said. This is the settings that I found strength. And you can share your current settings. And there's so many ways multiple people contribute. And you talk about like the cost and time. That's what we're all splitting up, right? I couldn't afford that. A lot of people couldn't afford to. Almost no one can afford to test a gun wholly by themselves.
Like, I mean, if you just look at Glocks, the first things that I started beta testing were Glocks. And I mean, you just because there's no mil spec, you have so many variations between parts kits. You got to find that sweet spot. What is Atom Bomb supposed to buy 15 different Glock 19 slides? He can't do that. No one can. At least no one in this space.
No,
you gotta have those beta testers.
Most definitely. And so if you think you can help a beta, or if there's a platform that interests you, talk to some devs. They can help you with dev work. There's still CAD classes going on. Go to the FOSCAD Matrix. And there are resources for you to do whatever you want to do. And I kind of want to encourage people, as we close out here, just to, I think the total encompassing statement of your work is to be outside the box, do your own thing, right?
Be weird,
do whatever you want, right? And I think people are so often stuck I'm gonna make a copy of this retail gun, which is fine, but tweak it a little, make it more comfortable for your hand, learn a skill, put a funny...
I mean, hell, right now I'm working on building my wife a Hello Kitty Glock.
Yeah,
she saw a couple on the internet that she thought were funny, and I was like, "You realize I can make you one of those, right?" She was like, "Oh, I was like, yeah, okay, we're gonna get you one of these, and we're gonna now, okay, yeah." So get you a Hello Kitty Glock.
Absolutely, and the more of these unique guns we see, I've seen some One Piece guns, some the Hello Kitty is great, the tons of Pokemon. I did a Lego. Lego's a classic young movie, the classic original Lego.
Milwaukee,
the Nerf, the Milwaukee, the tools ones are the best, right?
Those guys go hard. Is it just one guy doing it? I don't know.
I think a lot of people, like, we've seen the Ryobi ones. There's so many directions you can go if you like a particular restaurant. Dude, I would love an Applebee's Glock. If you make a Chili's Glock, if you make a triple dipper, that's like a triple stack mag. Like there,
That'd be great.
we really need to focus on thinking outside the box, right? And not just like we mentioned with guns, but with safety, with spreading the signal. Think of unique things. You mentioned going to a local range. Go to a gun show. Often tables at a gun show are like $30. Go to a gun show. Talk to some old people. I wore my catalog shirt, one of my catalog shirts to a gun show, and I had some old ladies just cackling. They loved it. And so
You don't even have to sell anything necessarily, do you?
no, you don't. Yeah, you don't. You can provide information.
You just post up with a sign saying "Ask me questions."
Yeah, no, exactly.
About 3D printed guns.
Absolutely. There are so many ways you, the individual, can help. And I think people often get in this, and we talked about like that all or nothing mindset. Oh, I have to I'm interested in this platform. I have to dev it. I have to test it. I have to learn CAD. I have to, and it's really not all that. Just like we're splitting the time and money, there's people that have done the CAD work. There's people that have tested it. There's people that make it so easy for. Yeah, absolutely.
Most of the Papilia. It's just a remix of the Scarab. That's why it's called the Papilia. The Papilia, the Papilia japicana, that's the Japanese beetle. It's related to the Scarab beetle. That's why it's called that. All I did was add some. Where is it? I just added some metal reinforcements, changed up the how the back lines up so it doesn't need the little shroud or whatever, and adjusted the front a little bit, some grips. I didn't really do anything to the internals because they already had working internals. So I knew that they were tested safe internals as long as I didn't remove material. I could consider myself pretty safe. It was only when I started removing material that I had to, dedicated, like once I started changing the mags. That's a change. Now we have to actually have like serious multi-person beta test. The original Papilia, I just went out and shot 1,200 rounds, and I never got it to break. I never got my original Papilia to break. So that was when I said it was good, because I already knew the Scarab internals were fine. I hadn't removed any material yet.
And for every popular platform, there's gonna be bases you can, like, so many bases you can start off. Like we mentioned the Mac, we mentioned every Glock pretty much possible has something.
Unseen Killer's Glock series.
Yeah, you can build off of it. The Recession Ruger, yep. That's another one. They are refined to the point. All of DB's releases, they are refined to the point where you can play with it. You mentioned like first playing with the DB alloy with the Lilium. You can play with it without removing and without worrying, is this going to work or anything? You can put little logos, put your name, put whatever the fuck. Paint it a cool color. Rattler Innovations, use code LEMON. Paint it a cool color. Make it stand out. Make it spread the signal as loud as it can. If that's what you want, if you want a sleek black gun, do it. I just want people to be able to do what they want and people to feel empowered to ask questions, to grow, to help more people spread the signal. One more time, cheesyparts.com, Chuckycheesetouchedme on Twitter or X and Instagram. You're going to be posting more on Twitter. You're always looking for testers, right, for new stuff going forward. And
we still have the Papilia beta Glock mag, and if you want access to the Glock and M&P Papilia mags, they are still in beta on the 3D2A.tv Discord. You can grab them through there. I've proven them safe. It's just the feed ramp at this point. It is crucial that it is printed in carbon fiber or glass fiber nylon.
Well,
like something very tough.
Yeah,
so if your printer can't do that, sorry. But
even going back to the Mac Daddy, right? That was feed, not to get to delay us from the closing here, but feed ramp issues and geometry has been, and durability has been for the longest the largest issue, right? And this is where developing community works. If you don't have a P1S or an enclosed printer, maybe one of your friends does. You can buy the filament for them and say, hey, like, will you make me a few of these?
Feed ramp or
Yeah,
something.
this isn't a gun, right?
Feed ramp is not a registered part.
No, it isn't.
I've been considering that because I do realize it is a little bit of a barrier for at this point a select few, but it is somewhat of a barrier. And sometimes they can't get the settings quite dialed down, especially for something. It is a small part. So I have been considering maybe carrying it on the site, but it's printed. So that takes the joy away from me.
Yeah. But also, like, the dimensions are available if you are a machinist, or it doesn't look like a scary part. So, and that's just an example. Everyone go check out Chuckycheesetouchedme. If you're a psycho, please go print the Harlot Kitty.
Over 2 days.
I am
free on the printer.
Begging, if someone prints the Harlot Kitty, please tag me. For the love of God, I will follow you back, do whatever, help you.
Oh my God.
I would love to see it. I'm definitely not doing that shit. That's insane. But if you do,
dude, I did it multi-color too.
That is so crazy, so crazy. And please tag Chuckycheesetouchedme at Chuckycheesetouchedme. All his files are on the GunCat Index. Everything's for free. Thank you for coming on, man, and I will talk to you guys next week.